welcome back to the Craft Castle. My name is Ashley and I need to know, have you seen this stuff on your social media ads? I have been swooned. I've been suckered into their ads and I needed to know if this stuff right here is as good as what they say in their videos. Now, I am not someone that gets influenced very often, but now that I have tested this stuff out, 1000%, everything you see in their social media videos is 100% correct. This stuff right here is liquid gold. It is going to change the decoupage glue game forever and ever, amen. Throw away your Mod Podge, grab this stuff, because this stuff right here is absolutely phenomenal, and I'm going to show you. So I made something that would definitely show whether or not this stuff was as good as what they say it is, and it is going to be a clear bookmark with dried flowers in between. Do you see that? This right here has 0 brush strokes, 0 bubbles. It dried glossy and is waterproof. And oh my gosh, not one. I am just miffed. Like how did they make this glue? I need to know how they're making this glue. Well, not really. I just need to keep buying it because this stuff right here is absolutely phenomenal. So for today's project, we are going to make another acrylic bookmark. Now I have to tell you that this project is so easy that even your kids can do it, and their projects are going to turn out phenomenal every single time because we're using Maker's Magic. This glue right here, when you use good high quality glue, you end up getting really good high quality products. I am freaking obsessed. I do have to tell you that recently my sister came to my craft room and she wanted to make some bookmarks for her and her friend, and she used gold leafing and it was drying the glue that we were using. We were using Mod Podge. It was dry and cloudy. It was not the results that we were wanting to get. And I was like, you know what, let's just scratch this project. So I'm going to use some gold leafing just so I can show you that it truly does, in fact, dry clear and glossy, which is everything that I've ever wanted in a decoupage glue. Okay, so for the supplies for this acrylic bookmark project, you're just going to need some bookmark acrylic blanks. These ones right here are clear. Now, I personally have a laser cutter, so I cut these on my laser cutter. If you don't have a laser cutter and you can't cut your acrylic bookmark blanks, I sell them in my cardstock warehouse, so you can pick them up there. The other thing that you're going to need is obviously Maker's Magic. Now, when you get the Maker's Magic, there are going to be 2 supplies that you are going to need or have at least on hand. One of which is a paintbrush. You need a paintbrush in order to apply the glue onto whatever it is that you're putting it on. And then you're going to need a lighter of whatever sorts. Now, the lighter is kind of an optional thing. I would say to have it on hand because when we brush the glue onto our bookmarks, if you see any air bubbles, you're going to use the lighter to like blow the air bubbles out of the way. But if you don't have air bubbles in your project, then you don't need this. And this is why it's kind of like, yes, have it on hand. You might not even need to use it anyways. The other thing you're going to need is anything flat that you want to make into your bookmarks. So like dried flowers, these are from Amazon, or gold leafing. This is what I'm going to be using today just so I can show you it does dry clear. Glitter will work for this project. If you have a piece of paper that you want to put on your project, anything is good to go as long as it's really flat. For every bookmark, at the end, there's going to be a hole where you would put like a tassel. You could buy those if you wanted to, but I just have some embroidery floss. I'm going to make my own tassel. I'll show you how to do that, but I'm going to make my own tassel because I had the floss on hand and I really truly did not want to have to go out and buy a whole bunch of supplies for this cool little craft that we're gonna do. All right, y'all, you ready to get started on this super easy craft? I'm telling you right now, you're gonna fall in love with Maker's Magic just like I did. Let's go. Okay, so the very first thing you want to do is grab your acrylic blank, and then all you want to do is take one side of your acrylic blank off. Try not to touch it too much because you don't want your fingerprints to be on your acrylic blank, but you only want to take one side off. Then what you're going to do is take your Maker's Magic, and I am going to apply a thin coat over the top of it. Now you want to try and do long brush strokes on your acrylic blank. That way you can minimize potential brush strokes, but also air bubbles. Okay, when you have the first layer down, you kind of want to let this dry a little bit so it gets nice and tacky. So when it's dried and became tacky, then what you want to do is take whatever item it is that you're going to be using, and we are going to put this onto our bookmark. Now I'm going to be using some gold leafing, but I'm also going to use some of this greenery that's right here in this dried flower set, just so I can give some dimension onto my bookmark. I'm going to make this for my sister. She is a plant mom now, and she will enjoy some greenery and gold leafing. Okay, when I have all my embellishments placed on my acrylic blank, what I'm going to do now is just kind of press down on my stuff just to make sure that we get a nice good seal on everything that we've placed on there. You definitely don't want this stuff to be flying away as you try and brush on another layer of this Maker's Magic. Okay, now that we have that done, the very next thing you want to do is take another layer of this Maker's Magic stuff, and you're going to apply it to the top of whatever it is that you're gluing down. Now for this layer, I suggest doing a thicker coat just so you get all the glue down that you need to get down. But then you also try and want to do like longer strokes. This is to avoid all of those air bubbles if you get them. However, if we do get air bubbles and you see it, we can just use our lighter to pop all the air bubbles out. Okay, then when you're done doing that, you just want to make sure and look at the sides to make sure that you have not missed any spots. I'm going to put the lid on this stuff right here because I don't need it anymore. And we are going to let this dry. Depending on how thick your glue layer is, this might take an hour or might take a couple hours. That said, you do not want to get this wet for 48 hours. It's not fully cured for 48 hours. Okay, so to make the tassel, I just chose a embroidery floss that kind of matches my theme for my bookmark. And all you're going to do is take a hard credit card or a ruler or, you know, something hard. I'm using my squeegee that I have for my vinyl. And all you're going to do is take this right here, and we are going to wrap this around. Now, the more times you wrap around, the fuller your tassel is going to be. So keep on wrapping until you get the fullness of what you want. Okay, when you have it as full as what you want, then all you want to do is cut the end off. And then we are going to kind of lift up all your layers of fullness, and we are going to slide this in here like that. We're going to bring it up to the very top. Okay, making sure that your one tail is nice and long. You're going to want to tie this in a very tight knot at the very top, and then just do a double tight. Okay, then I'm just going to cut off the end, matching the end at the very top, just like that. Okay, then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to tie a knot at the very top of my string. We'll do 2 knots just so we know it's not going to go anywhere. Okay, then I'm just going to cut that end off. Then what you want to do is pull all your string out from the top, just like that. And we are going to take those scissors, and you're going to want to go to very close to the end right here and cut it off. Now it's all individual strings and you don't have anything connecting at the bottom. Okay, then what you want to do is take like a tail as long as your end of your tassel. Okay, then what you want to do is lay out your tassel. You're going to take the tail end of the rest of your embroidery string. I'm going to make it as long as my tassel length is. So I'm going to pinch it off right here. Okay, this right here is going to be the start of your head of your tassel. So I'm going to put this head just like this, and you want to make the head any way that you want, any height that you want. And we're going to tie this off, squeezing this really tight. Okay, let's do a double knot just to make sure that it's nice and stuck on there. Okay, now what I'm going to do is taking these 2 strings, I'm going to cut them at the length of my tassel. So now with that knot, you can see that you can hardly tell it's there. There's not going to be any extra string hanging out, like spraying out from that, because it's all down here. Okay, now what you want to do is just trim up these ends, making sure they're nice and straight. Okay, there is your bookmark tassel. Look at how cute. And you know, you could make this shorter if you wanted to. I'm going to leave it this length. Okay, now all we need to do is wait for this to dry. Don't try and handle this if it's not dry, because you will put your fingerprints on this and then you'll be unhappy with the finished product. Now, before you take off the masking tape off of your bookmark, you want to make sure that it's completely dry to the touch, so you're not going to leave any fingerprints on your bookmark. But didn't this right here turn out so freaking cute? So this is the one that I decided to give to my sister, and you can see that there is no bubbles, there's no streaks. It is completely clear. If this was something that you would put in water, this is actually waterproof and food safe. So you could eat off of this if you wanted to. Now, obviously you wouldn't want to do that with a bookmark, but if you were using like a coffee mug, it would be waterproof and non-toxic and food grade safe. Now I have to tell you, I've only had this glue for a couple weeks and it's almost empty because I keep finding new uses for it. I like seriously cannot believe that all of their ads that I've seen is like 100% true. This stuff right here is seriously liquid gold. Now I need to know, what next project are you going to make using this stuff? Leave that in the comments of this video and I'll see you next time.